other dogs before?
Each time, she says, was the other dog's fault.
This is Judge Judy. Michelle Kirby and boyfriend Tim Lim are suing their former friend Niharika Venad for vet bills due to a dog attack.
Judge, this is case number 123 on the calendar in the matter of Kirby Lim versus Venad. Parties have been sworn in.
Thank you, Burb. Miss Kirby, this is your boyfriend, and I assume he's here because he covered some of this bill, or does he co-own the dog with you?
He co-owns the dog.
So, Mr. Lim, why don't you have a seat for a moment?
Sure.
If I need you, I'll call you.
Sounds good.
Thank you, sir. Okay. You and the defendant were friends. You made an appointment to meet for some wine, conversation, and take your dogs to a dog park. You had two dogs with you, a small dog, a miniature pinscher, and a dog that you say you were fostering. What kind of dog were you fostering?
They said that she was a shepherd mix.
Much larger dog.
Yes, larger breed.
And the defendant has a full-grown German shepherd, and you knew that.
Yes.
And you went to a dog park, and you both let your dogs off leash, correct?
Yes, it wasn't a dog park. It was more...
Not a formal dog park, and you all let your dogs off leash. How many dogs were there were off leash?
That's correct. So it was my two dogs that I had with me, Nee's dog, and then my friend Abby's dog. So 4 dogs.
And what kind of dogs does your friend Abby have?
She has a Bernedoodle.
And your pinscher weighs how much?
17 pounds.
According to you, what happened was that the dogs were sort of playing around, and Pappy, your dog, yipped or barked at the defendant's German shepherd. And they're all off leash at this point. How far away from you and Miss Vinod were the dogs when your dog yipped or barked?
They were pretty far, and then they came closer. So they were arriving at the park. The barking started.
You mean, just a second, you mean they had gone far away from all of you?
Oh, no, they were just arriving. So we had just arrived. We were there probably for 15 minutes, and Nee was not there yet. So it was me and Abby, and our dogs were playing, and then about...
So it was you and your other friend, and the defendant arrived last.
Correct.
And your dogs and Abby's dog were off-leash playing.
Yes, they were.
And the defendant came to join you with her dog. Did you drive there by car or did you walk?
Walk to the spot that they were at.
Okay. When you got out of your car with your dog for this 7-minute walk to where they were, was your dog on leash?
Yes, he was.
At what point did you take your dog off leash?
When I got there and I saw their dogs playing off leash, I took their lead and I got Rocket off leash.
Before or after you said hello to them?
They were at the far end from the point where I entered, so I just smiled at them. The dogs were in the middle. I let Rocket off leash, and I was walking towards Michelle. She was sitting on a picnic bench at that point to set my things.
Just a second, but you took your dog off leash when you saw her dog and Abby's dog playing in the distance. You took your dog off leash.
That is correct.
And did your dog run over to where the other dogs were playing?
No, ma'am. My dog is trained to heel while I'm walking.
And did the dog heel while you were walking?
Yes, he did.
At what point did he join the other dogs in play, or did he not?
Ma'am, we hadn't started officially playing. He was heeling while walking. And while I was going towards Michelle, although my dog was off leash, Pappy came barking at us. He was lunging in the air and nipping at my dog's face.
When she arrived, you saw her walking, and the defendant says that her dog was at little Pappy, ran up to her dog, who was at her side. Is that correct?
Yes.
And yipped, like sometimes little dogs do. They jump up, whether it went to nip, whether it went to greet, I don't know. And you did see your dog running towards hers, and something happened before her dog, which was at her side, got your dog in its mouth. You saw something happen. That's what you say in your complaint. A yip or something.
Oh, he barked. No, he barked, he yipped. I did not see any lunging or nipping at the face. I've never seen him do that ever before. But he did bark at it. And I didn't see it that day either, that's for sure.
But the German Shepherd was at the side of the owner.
For the most part. I wouldn't say he was, like...
Yes,
right next to her the whole time. He definitely, there's some space that had increased as they approached the table.
How many feet would you say Pappy ran when the other dog came into the park? I'm a dog owner, and I have small dogs. I know what I'm talking about. How far would you say Pappy ran? 50 feet, 100 feet, 150 feet from where the dogs were playing to...
I would say 40 feet, or to guess.
Okay. So your dog traveled 40 feet away from where you were?
Yes. I have a picture of the location, if that's helpful.
I'll look at it.
Yeah. So this is the spot where we met. This is the table that I was sitting at. And then you can see right over here is where Nee and her dog entered. So it was probably about 30, 40 feet from where we were sitting at this table.
Okay. Anyway, what happened was tragic because her dog, according to you, picked up your dog, bit Pappy, which caused serious injury. Dog was rushed to a vet, had to have surgery. Your vet bills were over $5,000. Dog had to remain in the center. And the defendant went with you to the vet, and I think if what I read is correct, the first $850 was taken from your credit card.
That is correct. That is correct. I drove Michelle and Pappy to the vet.
Great. And it's clear that that $850 was never paid back to her, nor is she asking for that now because I don't have a counterclaim. So it's interesting. Both of your dogs were off leash. But from what she tells me and what you seem to acknowledge is that her was not. You know, I always say when you go to a dog park and you release your dogs and they're out there playing, you've lost control of an animal. The defendant says, and I believe her, that her dog is trained to heel. And in fact, did that when they walked into the park. It was your dog that ran across the park 30 or 40 feet, according to you, and that was where the confrontation was. And how many times previously to this date in June did you have occasion to be in the company of the defendant's dog?
Less than 10 times, but we would meet up at parks to let our dogs play.
Okay, so has your dog and her dog interacted before without incident?
Yes.
You say in your complaint that Rocket, that is the defendant's dog, has attacked other dogs before, so Nee should not have taken him to the dog park. Well, when did you find out about that?
Before the incident, I did find out. He had attacked large dogs. Each time, she says, it was the other dog's fault, but has never taken... Well, just a second. Yeah. So before the incident, Ms. Kirby, if what you tell me is true, that you knew that this 120-pound German Shepherd, according to you, that's big dogs. Why in the world would you let a small dog have 10 play dates with a dog that you knew had incidents? I didn't imagine that a dog that big would care about a dog so small. I've never seen a dog react to such a small dog in that way because he's not in any threat whatsoever. He's 17 pounds.
Okay, well, that's a ridiculous answer. That's a ridiculous answer. Absolutely, it's a ridiculous answer, Ms. Kirby. What you are ascribing to a dog is a thought process that sometimes not even humans get. What you're doing is you're ascribing to the dogs a human thought process. Why in the world would I start up with a big dog like a German Shepherd? No. I'm just a little dog. I'm just a pincher. Oh, that's ridiculous. No, I'm talking about like the big dogs. So like for me, example, I'm also about roughly the same weight as Rocket, like about 120 pounds. If something approached me that was 17 pounds, why would I feel the need to try to kill it or pick it up and throw it around in its mouth? It's not... I just said to you, you are ascribing to a dog a human's thought process. And I'd never seen anything like that before. Well, whether you've ever seen it, though, that's unfortunate. For dogs. That's unfortunate. She doesn't owe you any money at all. You took your dog, your 17-pound dog, on 10 play dates with a 120-pound dog without it for that would have said to somebody, I'm not going to take my dog for another play date with this dog because it has vicious propensity. I wouldn't take my dogs off leash.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today...
Is that about basically right?
Well, there's a little more backstory to it, but basically...
You know, at my stage in life, I'm not so interested in other people's backstory. I hardly remember my own backstory.
Michelle Kirby says a German Shepherd owned by former friend Niharika Vinod attacked her miniature pinscher during a visit to a park.
I have a child who has two big dogs. They're wonderful, loving dogs. I have never seen them bite anybody. I have a new little dog, and I don't bring my new little dog to those dogs until I'm perfectly comfortable if they're off leash. Whether my little dog gets annoying, because sometimes they don't know that they're little. Little dogs don't know that they're little. Sometimes little dogs think they're huge, and sometimes big dogs think that they're lap dogs. Go on YouTube and look at the Great Dane that tries to snuzzle in with its owner on the couch. If you choose, you're the parent. Your pinscher is a toddler. If you choose to put your toddler at risk by taking your toddler to a playfield where there are teenagers, it's possible that when they're running and playing touch football, they're going to hurt the toddler. So I wouldn't take my toddler.
Here's like the example.
This isn't a conversation that we're having. You don't have a case against her.
Well, here's
it
the
was
thing.
your
Your Honor,
misjudgment.
Please
it
let
was
me
your
explain
no.
that.
You have
her dog was not
you have a
healing when he
responsibility.
attacked my dog and did not let my dog go.
We're done.
Your Honor.
We're done. You have no case against her. Goodbye. We're done. Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Their dog approached our dog 3 times.
My dog barked at her dog?
We moved away about 25 to 30 feet away, but their dog continued to run towards us.
Then her dog picked up my dog in his mouth and shook him back and forth as if you're a rodent or a prey that he was trying to kill.
Barking, lunging, and nipping the face.
When her dog finally did let go of my dog,
which is a clear indication of attack.
I had to pick him up and apply pressure to his wounds.
The big dogs are not always at fault.
So that he wouldn't bleed to death as we got to the vet.
They are not necessarily the primary aggressors in a situation.
He's okay today.
All parties in the matter of Giovelli versus Perkins. Step forward.
Lawrence Giovelli is suing his ex-girlfriend, Regina Perkins, for the return of a motorcycle she was storing for him.
Mr. Giovelli, this is an interesting case. According to your complaint, the defendant, who was a friend of yours, did you a favor. Back in 2010, you were for some reason moving from one place to another. You were sort of short on funds. You asked her if she could store your motorcycle in her garage. She said, sure. And you said, well, when I get enough money to have it shipped to where I want it to go, I'll send you the money and you'll ship it. Well, it's now 3 years later, and you want your motorcycle. And Miss Perkins says you can have your motorcycle when you pay her storage fees for the motorcycle, because she only agreed to keep the motorcycle for 6 months. You didn't pick it up in 6 months, so she has chosen an arbitrary figure of $250 a month storage, so she's got a counterclaim for $5,000. Miss Perkins, in what city and state is this motorcycle?
Oxnard, California.
And where do you live, sir?
Brandywine, Maryland.
And you have his motorcycle?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you driven it over the last 3 years?
No, ma'am.
Was the story that I laid out when we started this approximately correct? You can have it back, pay the fees. Is that about basically right?
About basically right, yes, ma'am.
Well, there's a little more backstory to it, but yes, basically.
You know, at my stage in life, I'm not so interested in other people's backstory. I hardly remember my own backstory.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I have a picture of the bike right here.
I don't want to see it. Unless it's of a good-looking guy in a bathing suit, I am not interested in a picture of your motorcycle.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Lawrence Giovelli says ex-girlfriend Regina Perkins won't return a motorcycle she is storing for him. Regina is countersuing for storage fees.
What year was this motorcycle?
That's 2001.
And when did you buy it?
2009.
Don't ask me, was that a question mark at the end?
2009, yes.
How much did you pay for it?
$1,500.
Was that a question mark?
No, it was $1,500, ma'am.
And you did not drive it over the last 3 years?
No, ma'am.
Anybody else drive it?
No, ma'am.
Great. So now you got an old motorcycle that's 12 years old that nobody has driven for 3 years, laying in a garage, that you think is worth as much today as it was when you bought it. And where you're coming from?
Well, I have a picture of the bike right here.
I don't want to see a picture unless it's of a good-looking guy in a bathing suit. I am not interested in a picture of your motorcycle. I just want to understand, your position is that this motorcycle that you bought in 2009 for $1,500 is worth the same today, despite the fact that nobody has started it, touched it, moved it, polished it, oiled it, greased it, whatever they do, lionized it, or anything else for the past 3 years. I just want to know if that's your position. That requires a yes,
yes, ma'am,
or a no. Great. Ms. Perkins, did you have an agreement with Mr. Giovelli to pay you storage for the motorcycle?
No.
So you cannot create a contract because you decide to create a contract unilaterally.
Okay, the agreement was he could keep the bike there till August of 2011.
Great. And if that's your agreement, and if you took it to the dump after that and treated it as abandoned property, if you could satisfy me that that was true, you would have been within your rights. You say he said he was going to keep it there till August. I kept it there. I notified him. I said, come and get your motorcycle or I'm throwing it in the garbage. And he didn't come. You could have thrown it away. Do you understand? $50 is your arbitrary figure that you pulled out of thin air.
Actually, I called storage companies, and they gave me, I called 3 of them, and I got an average. That's how I got it. It wasn't just arbitrary out of my head.
Well, it is an arbitrary figure when you are creating a contract. So what I'm telling you is you could have thrown it away, but you tell me you didn't throw it away, that it's still sitting there.
Correct.
Great. Now, Mr. Giovelli, do you want your motorcycle back?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know what state you're in now?
California.
Do you know what state your motorcycle is in?
California.
Go and get it.
Yes, ma'am.
And what are you going to do with it when you go and get it?
Take it back to Maryland.
Just for my own information, how do you propose to do that?
Have it shipped.
Have it shipped?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you know how much that's going to cost?
About $700.
And you think the motorcycle is worth double that?
Yes, ma'am.
So it would be worthwhile for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
You have 24 hours to get your motorcycle. We will give you an order. You have the title. Go with the police to her garage and get your motorcycle.
I don't think that's fair, Your Honor. I took care of it for him for 3 years now, and I think I should be compensated for my time and effort and the things that it's cost me.
What have you done with the motorcycle over the last 3 years? You've already told me that nobody drove it.
Right. Out of respect for the gentleman and his property,
No,
I didn't want anything to happen to it.
You said cost time and effort and money. I just want you to tell me.
That's right. I have a picture of where it's stored, and it prevented me from using that whole side of my house.
Could have thrown it away.
When he left it, it leaked oil on my driveway.
24 hours, go and pick up your motorcycle.
Yes,
your counterclaim's dismissed.
You know, when I called the police, they told me I didn't have to give it to him because possession was 9/10 of the law.
Are you still talking? I'm not listening anymore.
Okay.
Bodies are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
There was an accident. Instead of reversing their boat, they suddenly accelerated. There are a lot of boats out there, and you don't know what in the world you're doing.
Next Judge Judy.
Out of respect, I didn't write it. I didn't use it. I took care of it as if it was my own.
We were friends and just had a falling out, and friendship's over, I guess.
He did send his son at one point, but that was 14 months after the agreement to come and get it.
I just waited for her to get off work.
I didn't have to give it to him because possession was 9/10 of the law.
He said, well, it's on her property, and if I try to get the bike, it's breaking and entering. And unless she brings it out onto the sidewalk, I can't get it.
If I had left my property with someone, I would want the same respect.
I am very glad to have my motorcycle. I feel complete now.
You're never supposed to make a decorating decision.
I've been told that many times.
A husband's design sense made no sense.
Mr. Miso said, you pick out the materials. And when his wife saw, she said it looked awful.
Now they're coming after the contractor.
I obviously made a poor decision.
Mr. Miso knows he's wrong, but you're the pro.
This is Judge Judy. Paul and Carol Miso are suing contractor John Sterling for a refund for a bar he never finished building.
Judges, case number 135 on the calendar in the matter of Misso versus Sterling. Parties have been sworn in.
Mr. and Mrs. Misso, you hired the defendant to build a bar in your home, correct?
That's correct.
Who's going to speak initially for the two of you?
I'll speak initially, but Carol will add some comments.
I'm sure. $7,900.
That's correct.
And that was for labor and materials.
Yes.
On what date did you give him a first payment?
First payment was of $2,400 on November 28th, 2018.
Okay, and when was the next payment?
The next payment for $2,900 was January 15th, 2019.
When did the defendant start work on the project?
I don't know exactly the date that he started work.
Tell me what date you started work, Mr. Sterling.
It was early December. As we got materials into the shop, I think first week of December.
Okay, and Mr. Misso, how did you find the defendant?
Very pleasant. We were referred to Mr.
No, how did you find him? By reference.
I actually find him very pleasant still. We were referred to Mr. Sterling by our realtors, and they had apparently referred prior clients to him.
Had you just bought your home?
Yes. It was we had moved from another area in the neighborhood and bought a home about 5 years old, and we wanted to renovate it a little bit.
But you were already living in the home.
That is correct.
Prior to giving him the initial money, the $2,400, did you prepare a sketch or show him a photograph of what you wanted?
Yes, we did. And in fact, he prepared the sketch.
As the woman steps in.
Just a sec. Hello? No, this is not stepping in time. Stepping in is when I ask you a question.
Okay.
Right now, all I want to see is the photograph or sketch that the defendant prepared.
So this is the entertainment center that we were attempting to match. I'll switch it.
It's a better one.
All right, so this is the photograph, Mr. Misso, of the piece of furniture that you wanted to be aligned with the bar that you wanted him to build.
Correct. It was, if I could switch the picture, you can kind of see what we were talking about. That's the same unit, and the room extends further down, and against the same wall, and beyond that little divider is where the bar was intended to be.
I see, and there is something there.
Correct. That is what's been delivered.
That's what was delivered that had not been there before.
Correct.
You'll show me another picture of that later.
Absolutely,
okay.
When you ask for it.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
Okay.
So it was supposed to match that and be complementary to that. Did Mr. Sterling give you an approximate amount that he would be spending for materials?
I don't remember a breakdown.
As opposed to labor? Did you have a breakdown, Mr. Sterling? How much for labor and how much for materials?
It wasn't all that detailed, but the initial payment was to cover materials.
So the $2,400 was to cover materials?
Yes.
And the $2,900 was your labor?
That covered a down payment on the paint and some of the shop labor to that point.
Mr. Sterling?
Yes.
Mr. Sterling, I'm going to ask you for receipts for all the materials that you purchased. I just want you to be aware of the fact I'm going to ask you for receipts from all the materials that you furnished for this project.
I understand.
I certainly hope you have them.
I don't.
Okay, good. Well, that would be a mistake. That's your business.
You're correct.
This is your business, because what happened is they want their money back. They paid you over $5,000, and they say that what you delivered was wholly inadequate. And I'm going to take a look at the pictures. If I look at the pictures and it looks to me like tacky stuff, that means you got paid $5,000 and you just increased your labor cost. So you should have bills for what you spent so that you can decipher whether or not you gave him quality or you gave him schlock. So now what I would like to see, because we're going to go one step further, it is your defense, I don't necessarily agree with it, but I understand it, that Mr. Misso, according to you, said you pick out the materials, and you did, and when his wife saw what you had picked out, she went crazy, and she said it looked awful, and you said, I had your husband's go-ahead, and he at this time is trying to find a corner to hide in, because he wasn't getting in between you and his wife, and if he had to pick somebody, he was going to pick her side. It's not a hard scenario. That's why you should have the receipts for what you spent. Got it?
Correct.
You know, I've been married for a long time. I know about, well, he said I could do that. What? You know, where can I go and hide? Do you understand, Mr. Miso?
I understand.
Yes.
I do.
I know you understand. I knew you got it as soon as you walked in. Now I'm going to see a picture of this piece of furniture that he delivered.
I'd show that first.
Did you want to see the drawing first that Mr. Sterling had prepared?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, I got ahead of myself. Let me see the drawing. Got it. It looks very, very much like, and it's beautiful. It's actually lovely. The bottom part of that, by the way, just the bottom part without the top fixture, looks very much like a bathroom vanity. I'm just telling you, it does. Upon the finishing,
right? So
it looks lovely. And in the middle of that, are you going to have water, or it's just going to be a dry bar?
A dry bar.
A dry bar, consistent with the other piece that you had there.
Correct.
Great. Now can I see a photograph of what he delivered?
Yes. And if I can show what
is in the other boxes?
I assume those are, we have not opened them, but we presume they are the two refrigerators.
Wine refrigerators.
Wine refrigerator and
what
a small.
What are they?
They're the wine refrigerators they ordered.
Where are they supposed to go?
If you look in the original drawing, you have a center section on the lower that's storage, and the two outboard on that drawing shows you the wine refrigerators.
I'm switching back for.
So it's just the center panel that was delivered?
It was the lower section and the refrigerators so that I could get the granite guy to come in and drop a top on.
But you were going to have to build the sides once they put the refrigerator part in.
No, the side panels for the refrigerators are there. They're in the picture.
Let me see.
He's pointing to it right there. That's the side panel.
Both the sketch and what he delivered.
I have pictures of the other cabinets, too, that did not get delivered.
Side panels. What's supposed to be on side panels that's different from?
It's just it's a finished end panel that is constructed the same as the doors. So it looks basically like a door on the end of the cabinet.
Are those supposed to be drawers? They look like drawers on top that I don't see.
Yes.
Where are the drawers?
They're right there above the doors. They just don't have handles on them yet.
They just don't have handles on them?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Mr. Miso.
Yes.
What is it that you didn't like about what he delivered?
It was, actually, if I can take you back to the first communication that we had, and I'll put that up, and I just need the camera to hone in on the yellow, it's simply stated, we moved into a new home, and we'd like to get a bar built that matches our entertainment center.
Forget it, Mr. Miso. My organization, I asked you a very simple question. I looked at the sketch. I looked at this. I see what's there. I see that you had a disagreement with him, but I want to know what it is that you didn't like about what he delivered.
That it didn't look like this.
That's not what they asked for.
You mean it was the color? Just a second. The color is what you were objecting to. It was supposed to be a different color. Yeah. Now show me a picture of the... Don't look at her. Don't look at her, Mr. Miso. That's the problem. Do you understand that's the problem? I'm not looking at her either. What color, Mr. Miso, is the other piece that you showed him that you wanted to match?
I would call it
that piece?
I would call it...
No, show it to me.
Oh, show it to you?
Show it to me.
There you go.
Show it to me again. No, not that piece. Is that the piece in the other room?
Yes. Sorry, it
is. I
is.
want to see the piece in the other room.
There we go.
The photograph. The photograph. Okay, so what you're objecting to is that what he delivered was stark white, and this has a more finished, textured look. Is that what you're talking about?
A couple things. One is that it is a stark white, but it does. If you feel the wood, it's a very different. Yes.
Listen, he didn't specify the wood in your contract. You didn't have a specification of wood.
We did specify wood
items,
and paint.
If it was to match, really, that's where we're going to happen.
I would call that.
Think before you act.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
They showed you what color they wanted. That is not white. What you delivered to them was a white. I mean, you're the pro. You're the pro.
Paul and Carol Miso say contractor John Sterling failed to deliver a finished bar they hired him to build for their family room.
Now, what color is that original piece that you wanted him to complement in the new bar?
An off-white.
What color is that?
An off-white color.
An off-white. Okay. And what color would you describe what he delivered?
White.
Okay. Now, did you ever have a conversation with him or approve a paint finish, a paint color?
I did.
Did you? I'm asking you.
I did.
And what color did you approve?
I said that it was okay to go with white.
And that's what he did.
That's correct.
That's what he did. So the customer gave him the color. Now, I wouldn't do that, and I know, Mr. Miso, you will never do that again.
That is correct.
Because you can go with not an answer. Mr. Sterling.
Yes.
I'm coming back to you, sir.
Yes.
Just, I want you to know that Mr. Miso knows he's wrong. He just had to choose between which one was going to be beheaded. But you're the pro. They showed you what color they wanted. That is not white. What you delivered to them was a white. I mean, you're the pro. You're the pro. So if you're the pro and you say, listen, do you want to match that color, or do you want to go as close to that color as we can?
The contract does not specify matching the other cabinet. The contract specifies Swiss Coffee Kelly-Moore paint. That's what the contract specifies. The contract does not specify matching another cabinet.
They showed you this cabinet, Mr. Sterling, did they not?
Yes.
I'm not asking about the contract. I'm asking you whether they showed you this cabinet.
Yes, I saw that cabinet.
And did they not say to, just a second, did they not say to you, let's be very honest with each other, just as Mr. Miso has been honest with me today, did they not say to you that they wanted it to be a complement to this cabinet?
Complimentary, yes.
Yes. And you're the professional. Now,
well, it's...
I am a trained lawyer. I'm not a decorator, but I would never put stark white as a professional next to oak. I would say, listen, before you say you can go with white, why don't you talk to the missus? Why don't I make you a paint board so that you can take a look and see what color you want? As the professional, Mr. Sterling, that's what I would do.
Well, it's what I offered to do.
And so I'm surprised. Did you?
Yeah.
Offer to do a paint board? Did you? Good for you. And is that when he said to you can go with white?
No, I offered to make samples or get things ready for them, and I said, you have things to match. We can match the existing cabinet that you have, and I don't know what that finish is. That's a bought product. I said, we have to take that down, have that color matched. You have another color here in the house.
And you were talking to Mr. Miso. You were talking to Mr. Miso.
Yes.
Okay, so... And you don't deny that you had this conversation with him? I believe him.
I did not have that conversation.
That has to be a conversation. Well, when did you tell him you can go with white?
When we were looking at, we were in the family room, living room combination there, and asked what color, and I obviously made a poor decision. But there was no color palette to pick from. I mean,
No. I didn't, Mr. Miso, I didn't say there was a color palette. I told you when you were having that conversation in the living room. By the way, were you living in the house when you were having that conversation?
Yes.
Is there a TV in the living room?
In the family room next to it, yes.
Is that where you were having the conversation with him about the color? Mr. Miso?
Yes.
Is that where you were having the conversation in the family room?
Yes.
Was the TV on or off?
TV was off, I believe.
Yeah.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You see, when people ask me questions about things, you know what my response is? I'm a television personality. Speak to an expert. You're never supposed to make a decorating decision.
I've been told that.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Paul and Carol Miso claim contractor John Sterling owes for a refund for a family room bar he never completed.
Okay. Listen, you have a contract?
The color I painted that cabinet is the color of their trim. in the house. That's where I came up with that color. I didn't pull that out of the air. It matches the color of the trim in their house. That's where I got the color.
But you don't do a piece of furniture to match trim.
Sometimes we do,
I have a lot of houses. I have a lot of houses. I never saw a piece of furniture like that, a big piece of furniture that matches trim when it's on a same trying to complement that is so clearly not a complementary color. Listen, you have a contract. You use the kind of paint that was in the contract. I don't think that there's a discrepancy about that. It was the color. The color is off. The bottom part of it matches the sketch that we showed. It does have 4 parts. It has drawers. He said the side panels are there. The color is off. I absolutely, completely understand why your wife is beside herself with the white color. I absolutely understand that, but that's not his fault. Mr. Misu, that's on you. That's on you. What do you do for a living?
I'm an operations manager.
You see, when people ask me questions about things, you know, they'll say, what do you think about whether we should use this material for the pool or use this material for the sliding glass doors? You know what my response is? I'm a television personality. I have no idea about that. Speak to an expert. You're never supposed to make a decorating decision.
I've been told that many times.
So, but you can't blame Mr. Sterling for that, and you can't ask for all the money back because he did, in fact, buy, even though he doesn't have all the receipts, he did, in fact, buy what he was supposed to buy, the cooling equipment, and deliver the center part. Who stopped the work? Did you tell him to stop the work?
Carol asked me not to come back till she discussed things with her husband.
Yes. Okay, well, now just a second. So right now, he will complete this bar for you, and you have to pay him the balance of the $7,900. If you don't have, because he seems like a very nice man, and his responses to me were totally consistent with a reasonable contractor.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, now, in this case, it's the customer's problem. It's the customer's fault. You can either come to an accommodation with him where he'll finish the job, and if you want to change the color, I'm sure that will be an additional cost if you change the color, or not. But you're not getting your money back from him. That's clear. So if your husband says he's a very nice guy, he still thinks he's a nice guy, and I actually agree with that. Although, very bad judgment to deal with somebody who's an operations manager, husband, when you know he's married to somebody happy with white.
I interview my clients much better now.
Good. Your case is dismissed. Either talk nice to him or you're going to have to eat the $5,000. We're finished. Thank you very much. Case dismissed.
Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
We've been ghosted for 18 months or more than 18 months by the defendant.
I couldn't really get a straight answer of where the finish line was.
I very much would like to just get my money back and go to someone that I can trust.
I'd like to move on. Whatever needs to be done will be done.
I'd like the bar built.
I'm glad the case is resolved.
You rented a car for him.
3 times.
Listen to me. Don't talk. You know I'm not crazy about you.
It was a damaged relationship from the start.
You destroyed the car.
Yes.
Right?
Accidentally.
But her love and money didn't stop.
Who gave him the credit card?
Your Honor, the whole reason I gave him the credit card, he's a big manipulator.
He played you.
This is Judge Judy. Erica Fulcher is suing her ex-boyfriend, Kishar, charges and for extorting money from her.
Judge, this is case number 144 on the calendar in the matter of Fulcher versus Holmes. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Miss Fulcher, how old are you?
35 years old, Your Honor.
What do you do for a living?
I am a licensed esthetician and entrepreneur.
Single?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any children?
No, ma'am.
Who introduced you to him?
My friend, Florence.
You know how old he is?
Yes, ma'am.
How old is he?
25 years old.
Do you know what he does for a living?
He's an inspiring rapper, I believe. And
he does nothing.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, You knew that he did nothing. You know, I'm an aspiring Grandma Moses. It's not going to happen for me. You know who that was?
No, ma'am.
She was someone who started painting at the age of 75 and did it very well. So your friend introduced you to this unemployed person who, according to you, told you he was at a crossroads in his life, trying to make himself better.
No.
You like yourself just the way you are.
Yes, ma'am.
So, you know, there are some people that are born with confidence. They may not have anything to back it up, but they're born with confidence. It's a wonderful thing. Really, it's a wonderful thing for everybody to have that kind of confidence. According to you, started to date. Now, he says you were never dating. You were just friends.
Correct, Your Honor. We were not dating.
So when you said in your complaint, in September 2020, I met Sean through my best friend's brother, and we started dating. That was wrong.
I don't consider us to be in a relationship.
No grunting. What?
I wouldn't consider dating to be a relationship. It was definitely a friendship.
Well, you wrote it.
Yes, ma'am.
You wrote it. You wrote it dating. Dating is something more than just friends.
I agree, yes.
Well, were you dating or just friends?
Dating.
No.
There we go. That's what you said in your complaint. Now, Mr. Holmes, I would like you to give me your definition. Listen to me. You know, you may ultimately prevail in this case. That doesn't mean it's not going to cost you. What does the word dating mean to you?
Two people together, going out, having a bond exclusively, only, you know, and basically as an understanding that you two both are dating and, you know, y'all come to that terms in the word of like, hey, we date, and one of y'all ask each other to date, boyfriend, girlfriend type.
Okay,
you know.
so let me pull out some words that you said. Exclusively. So to you, dating means neither one of you see. I'd like you to describe for me, give me a word to describe the relationship that you had with the plaintiff.
Transactional.
What?
It was, I gave her.
What does that mean,
I gave her stuff for her assistance back. So it wasn't like anything just off the genuineness or muscle of like doing anything.
What did you give her?
Oh, money for the things that I'm being sued for and just time and stuff like that. Like I paid, like, you know, it was a conversation. Hey, can you do this? I will pay you. And yes, I will do this as long as you pay up front first. So it was nothing like, oh, speak, ma'am.
Could you please further describe to me what you mean when you say it was a transactional relationship?
Basically, everything was in front.
Mr. Holmes, stand up straight.
Got you.
And I want you to eliminate the word basically and like from your answers to me.
Yes, Your Honor.
No basically, no like. Perhaps I should be more specific with you. Did you and the plaintiff ever have, since September when you met, sexual relations?
Yes.
More than once?
Yes.
More than 10 times?
No.
Between 5 and 10?
Nah.
5. 4.
Yes.
Now, when she rented a car for you that you destroyed, but she says you paid her $491.43 towards the rental fees, but you destroyed the car.
Yes.
Right?
Accidentally.
Well, an accident is when you're not doing something really stupid.
Well,
An accident happens usually when somebody is being cautious in a car and through no fault of their own or through a misjudgment, there's damage. But this says he was using the car to perform tricks. What kind of tricks?
It was a careless accident, and it wasn't too much of tricks. I was filming a music video, and yeah, it was just the act, you know, mistake going wrong, some new stuff I learned how to do. Brake gave out, couldn't push the brake in time. I hit a wall. Accept accountability for that. It wasn't like no secret. It wasn't like something I tried to hide or anything.
Okay. Your problem is, Ms. Fulcher, you're suing him for a lot of things. The fact that he overspent on a credit card of yours?
No, Your Honor. I have the evidence. He had a credit card in his name. He took the card himself.
Credit card, you did.
Who gave him the credit card? Who's responsible for paying the credit card, Ms. Holmes?
Yes, I'm the authorized account holder. based off of the agreement that Mr. Holmes and I had, and me having empathy for him and him trying to transition.
Listen to me. I know exactly what it is when I read the papers. Do you understand? I want to show you how ridiculous you are.
Yes.
You rented a car for him.
3 times.
And don't speak out again. You know I'm not crazy about you.
Yes, ma'am.
You rented a car for him, and you saw what he did to the car, and you continued to do other things for him. Give him money for a plane ticket because he needed it, send him money because he needed it to get back home because somebody, he said, robbed him at gunpoint. You believed all that after you saw what he did to the rental car. And during that time, you were having intimate relations with him. According to him, 4 times. He said 4 times because he was being a wise Alec. The rest of it is on you. You didn't have a business arrangement with him. You had a social arrangement with him that he didn't take seriously, but you did. And if you said to me, he was a young man, 10 years younger than I am, he wanted to transition his life, he wanted to do something more with him other than I met him, and I thought he had potential and I wanted to help him, well, that's one thing. Having sexual relations with him is something entirely different. Then you're giving money to a young boyfriend, and you don't get it back.
Can I say something, Your Honor?
Women are supposed to be smarter. Unless what you're going to tell me that you didn't have intimate relation with him, then I'll listen to you. But you and I both know that that's not true.
Correct, Your Honor. Mr. Holmes is correct. We only had intimacy twice, 3 times. So I was not attracted to him in that way, but I did have empathy for him, and I was trying to help him transition. The reason why I got him the credit card in his name was in efforts to teach him how to be self-sufficient and to disconnect myself from having to be accountable or reliable for him. He did state to me that no one ever, cares about him, that he really needed help. And one of the reasons, well, the really reason why I continue to do things is he's a big manipulator, and he would threaten me. He would emotionally and verbally
You rented me your car 3 times.
I did not rent.
Listen to me. Listen to me.
Sorry.
Don't
Sorry,
talk.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Yes, I did not rent him. When the second time happened, which was on October 17th, and she's my witness to account for that, he came to my house and distraught, and he was crying, telling me how he just needs my help again, and he's so sorry. And he even had me in tears.
Listen to me. Listen to me. He played you.
Absolutely.
He played you. There is only one part of your lawsuit that I am going to entertain. All the rest of it, you rack up to experience and being foolish. And the only thing that I'm actually curious about, because all the rest of it is, you had a young boy toy that you said, okay, I'm going to help him turn his life around. And then it all sort of kicked back at you. You asked him for the keys back the second time that you rented a car from him. I want you to tell me what happened when you wanted the keys back for the car.
On October 19th, when I asked him for the keys back, he told me that I needed to
Why did you ask him for the keys back to the second rental car on the 19th of October?
I never wanted to do it in the first place, Your Honor, which is how the first rental car...
Just a sec. Would you just
I was trying to get the vehicle back.
What happened that caused you to try to get the vehicle back? There had to be some...
Get the vehicle back. So Mr. Holmes came to my house on the 19th. And that morning, outside my house, I heard a lot of chaos. I heard someone calling his name, saying, Keyshawn, Keyshawn. And I work from home. I had a Zoom meeting at 9 o'clock, so I couldn't address it. I was like, what is going on out there? I guess he was sharing his location with someone, and that person came to my house and was honking the horn.
Just a second. On October 18th, did he sleep over at your house?
Yes, ma'am.
So he slept at your house, and what you heard outside was a commotion because a woman was calling his name outside.
Yes, Your Honor.
That is playing out, and that scene is playing out. Put your hand down. I don't want to look at you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today.
Did you get married?
We did. Just not there.
Where?
We had a online ceremony.
We could have done the virtual element as well.
You know, if I had different parents, I would have been 5'10" and live, but I did not have different parents. It is what it is.
Erica Fulcher says ex-boyfriend kicked up her credit card and extorted money from her.
Now, what you heard outside was a commotion because a woman was calling his name outside.
Yes, Your Honor.
That is playing out, and that scene is playing out. Put your hand down, I don't want to look at you. That scene is playing out in my head, that he spent the night at your house, somebody came by, that he was sharing his location with. So on the 19th, you said to him, give me the keys back to the car. You weren't always trying to listen to me. You weren't always trying to get the keys back. You just slept with him on the 18th.
Your Honor, that is not true.
Yeah. Okay. So on the 19th, you said, give me the keys back. And he said,
give me $500 if you want the keys back, because he felt that he had given me money previously and he doesn't really know how to do math.
I did.
And so because it was that important to me, I went in my house and I got the money and I gave it to him to be done with him.
No,
I felt like, you know,
yeah, I got it. My gut reaction was correct. Next time, if you want to help somebody, find somebody who's 9.
I understand, Your Honor.
And invest in their future. You understand. Good. Your case is dismissed. Thank you very much.
Thank you. This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
You know, I just didn't think that it should come this far. It is what it is. It's called life, and I accept my accountability for what I did wrong and my faults. I have no bad blood, so I always try to be on the good terms and try to come to some type of conclusion and even help. You know, I never wanted any type of drama or anything, but obviously 2 people got to be mature about it and come together and be on the same page.
All parties in the matter of Khorasani versus Mekki, step to the podium, please.
Zaki Khorasani is suing Event Center COO Krista Mekki for the return of his rental deposit after pandemic restrictions caused him to change his wedding venue.
Mr. Khorasani, well in advance of your planned wedding, you booked the defendant's venue to have the wedding. According to what I read, you signed a contract in August of 2019. The wedding was supposed to take place in November of 2020.
Correct.
And you gave the defendants a $3,000 deposit to hold the venue.
That's correct.
And then COVID struck the planet, and you didn't use their venue, and you want your deposit back.
Exactly.
So I have a couple of questions to ask you before I look at the contract.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Everybody had already come. It was a no-no. 0 people.
But on the date of his actual wedding, we could still do 50.
Is Corinthian Event Center still in business?
Yes.
They should be smarter.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Zaki Khorasani is suing Event Center COO Krista Mekki for the return of his rental deposit after pandemic restrictions caused him to change his wedding venue.
Now, you do understand that the reason for a deposit is so that the venue can not book any other event for that day. They are committed to doing an event for you on that date.
Yeah, the $3,000 deposit was... Yes.
The answer is yes. And you understand that the reason you booked so far in advance was because you wanted to ensure that no one else could get that venue. That's the reason that you booked so far in advance. And according to you, you planned a big wedding, 150 people. And your complaint alleges that in August of 2020, you were advised that you would have to limit the number of people in order to comply with the law in the state of California. You do live in California.
That's correct.
Correct? And somebody is going to tell me that at that time, to this to 50 people, which actually at this point sounds like a lot for indoors. You had more people than that who had been invited to your wedding. Defendants say that's not our fault. We were prepared on the date of November 8th to have a function at our facility. It's not our fault that the state limited the number of people. So now I'm going to go to Ms. Mekki. In August of 2020, do you know what the governor's rule was with regard to gatherings in August?
Yes.
50 was allowed.
What was the limit?
Excuse me.
50 were allowed in August.
Correct.
How many were allowed in November?
At the beginning of November, 50 were still allowed. They changed the order on November 13th.
To how many?
Nothing inside.
0.
Correct.
And did that because?
COVID.
Right.
Right.
Did you get married?
We did, just not there.
Where?
We had a online ceremony at my house, our house.
On what date?
On November 9th, the day after we were scheduled to originally get married.
So all your closest guests came virtually?
Yeah, we had our immediate families present, distanced, masked, maybe 8 people, and everyone else was called.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Now, how many people are allowed inside now?
Still at 0.
He gets his $3,000 back.
Okay.
Do you understand?
We could have done the virtual element as well.
Yeah. You know, if I had different parents, I would have been 5'10" and lithe, but I did not have different parents. It is what it is. And your venue should be smart enough to understand that. If they were planning a wedding in August and at that time, foolishly, they were allowing 50 people to gather inside, then my reaction might be different. If you wanted, depending upon your safety, if you said, well, I can have 50 people, that's what the governor says I can have. But in November, everybody had already come around. Everybody knew the drill. Big inside was a no-no. 0 people, he gets his money back.
But on the date of his actual wedding, we could still do 50.
Is what you're telling me on the date of his actual wedding, which was supposed to be on November 8th, and what restriction, although announced before, took place on the 13th. Is that what you're saying?
The restriction took place on the 13th.
It was announced before. It was announced before, but it was effective on the 13th. Is Corinthian Event Center still in business?
Yes.
They should be smarter. They should be smarter. Anyway, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,000. We're finished. Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
Did you have the leash in your hand at all times?
Yes, I did. The pit bull had broken away from the owner. I was screaming. The dog was totally clenched onto my dog.
Next Judge Judy.
We gave them every opportunity to still have their event at our event center, just maybe not on the date that they wanted.
We understand that changing the date could have been a possibility for us, but we were very hard set on being married in November of 2020.
Due to COVID, but hey, she ruled how she ruled, and that's fine.
And we didn't want to reschedule, not knowing what the future would have held in case we would have had to reschedule again after that.
Yeah, we rescheduled about 100 couples through COVID, so...
I understand the Stonewall approach, but I think everyone needs to be a little bit more compassionate during these times.
It is what it is, 2020 weddings. What can we say?
It's time to enjoy being married.
During this short engagement...
Let me stop you for a minute.
Don't stop me ever.
An ex shoots his mouth off over a missing firearm.
She said the shotgun is with my son who lives in Oklahoma City.
Or did you lie to him?
I lied to him.
Where is it?
I sold it.
And dishonesty will always misfire.
I think that you're a fibber.
That would be a fair assessment.
Don't cross your arms. There's only one attitude here.
This is Judge Judy. Leslie Orm is suing his ex-fiancée, Lori Mosley, for an unpaid loan and for the value of a shotgun.
Judges, case number 136 on the calendar in the matter of Orm versus Mosley. Parties have been sworn in.
Mr. Orm, the defendant is your former fiancée.
That is correct.
You were engaged from when to when?
July 4th of 2018 to approximately the 3rd week of November 2018.
So we're talking, sir, about 2 years ago for about 4 months.
Yes.
And the thrust of your lawsuit is, during that 4-month period, 2 years ago, you made a loan to the defendant, or actually 2 loans. One for she decided she didn't want to take a cruise, and that was for $300 for the deposit that she put down on that.
That is correct.
And then, yeah, I know. Don't get so excited, sir. You've lived without this money for 2 years, and you may live without it for a little longer. And the other $800, Mr. Orm, is for money that you claim that you loaned to her for 2 airline tickets for her son and daughter-in-law to join you, the two of you, on a trip to Florida that the two of you decided to take in lieu of the cruise that was canceled and on which you lost the $300 deposit. So far, that's part of your lawsuit. Am I right?
Yes.
I just don't want the folks out there in the television world to get all excited. This is not the Scopes trial, and it is certainly not the trial of the century. The next part of your lawsuit, Mr. Orm, is that 2 years ago, during this very short engagement that you had...
Well, let me stop you for a minute.
Somehow... No, don't stop me ever. And during this short engagement that you had, somehow the defendant came into physical possession of a shotgun that belongs to you, and you want it back. You've managed... And part of what I'm going to ask you is what makes you miss it so much now. So I have a couple of questions. Since I pretty much outlined the lawsuit and you wanted to comment on something that you thought I misread in your complaint, you want to tell me what that was that you wanted to comment on?
You know, to be honest, I lost my train of thought on that one here.
Right, that happens to me.
Right. to your question about...
So the answer is...
To your...
Just a second.
Okay.
Question. To my question about... What was my question? I said, what was it that you wanted to disagree with was my question. And if you said nothing,
right,
then
correct.
I'm going to continue my questioning of you. Okay. So since November of 2018, just for my own information, have you been in the military?
No.
Have you been in the United States or traveling outside the United States?
I've been in the States.
Have you been, since November of 2018, incarcerated?
No.
So now my question to you is, why, Mr. Orm, during a planet-wide pandemic, 2 years later, all of a sudden you're missing the shotgun and this $1,100 or so that you claim she borrowed from you 2 years ago?
That's a good question. So what happened is that she had to Washington State for one reason or another. So at this point in time, I had asked, well, since you're going to be moving, what about getting this various stuff back? And she said, well, you know, the shotgun is with my son, Brandon, who lives in Oklahoma City. And I was like, okay, well, what can you do to get that back?
Mr. Orm, on what date did you have that conversation with her? And if you don't remember the exact date, give me the month and year that you had that conversation
just recently, right here.
Okay.
Those are the text messages.
Were you still in a relationship with her?
No.
After November of 2018?
No.
How did you find out that she was moving?
We would text and talk back and forth just on a, I don't know, meager basis, I guess, for lack of a better term. And that's when she had shared with me that she was moving out of her current residence due to she's being forcibly asked to move. So at that point in time, I figured, okay, now's a good time, because I didn't know she was going to be moving. I figured as long as my property and stuff is there, we're fine. But then when she said she's going to move...
property, you're talking about part of this.
Yes.
That's the only property that's part of this.
Well, I could, I do have a ring that I could go, but, that is neither here nor there, with the broken...
You're talking about an engagement... You're talking about an engagement ring.
Yeah, Yeah, I could go. That's kind of a mute issue. I could go after that, but I'm not. I'm not looking to, be petty
Mr.
here or
Orm,
anything like that.
Mr. Orm, that you would get back.
Okay.
Mr. Orm, the engagement ring, if you sued for it, you would get back.
Okay.
Because that's the law.
Right.
An engagement is a contract to marry. If the marriage doesn't take place, irrespective of who calls off the wedding, you're entitled to the engagement ring back. But you didn't sue for that. That you would have actually gotten back. And this could have been a short case. I could have moved on to case number 2. This is a little more complicated. Okay, now I'm going to see the text messages, and you're talking about text messages from November of this year.
Yes.
About the shotgun. That's what I want to see. You say, how am I going to get my shotgun back from you before you leave? She says, well, I have to get it from Brandon. I assume that's your son. He took it to clean up the rust and stuff on the barrel. Okay. How would it have rusted unless you had said it had rust on it when you left it here? Oh, okay. That was it. Okay.
Right.
Miss Mosley, Miss Mosley, you have to pay careful attention. Your answer to him suggests that you left it there. That's what you said in your text.
Left it at my old residence, or?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Left, just pay careful attention.
Okay.
I read the text. I don't know whether you did. He said, how am I going to get my shotgun back? You said, my son Brandon took it because it had rust. Okay. And how am I supposed to get, because that was the question. You responded to him, it had rust when you left it here. You didn't say it had rust when you gave it to me. You said it had rust when you left it here. You were responding to him. So the shotgun is with your son Brandon in Oklahoma City?
No, I actually...
Is that right?
No.
Where is it?
I sold it.
You sold it to whom?
I sold it...
Listen to me. I'm not liking, you see, the answers so far that you're giving me. I'm not liking them. Do you understand?
Yes.
And you don't want... You have a son, a daughter-in-law, you have grandchildren?
Yes.
You don't want to be made foolish. The shotgun, according to what you said to him, was with your son Brandon.
Yes.
Brandon, I assume, lives in Oklahoma City.
He does.
And you do not live in Oklahoma City.
No, I don't.
So if what you just... That means that either you sold it or you directed Brandon to sell it, or else Brandon got it back to you somehow by mail, unlikely, and you sold it from where you were. Well, you lived where? In Los Angeles, in California, in Washington? Where do you live?
Currently, I live in Washington.
Okay, so now I gave you all those options. Where was it sold? In Oklahoma City or in Washington?
Oklahoma City.
Or did you lie to him?
I lied to him.
That you gave it to Brandon?
Yes.
You lied to him?
Yes.
That you gave it to Brandon?
Yes.
Well, now you just said to me you sold it in Oklahoma City. Well, that would be where your son lives. So explain to me how you sold it in Oklahoma City.
Sorry, Your Honor. I did not sell it in Oklahoma City. I sold it in Utah when I was still living there.
Okay, just a second. Just a second. Just a second. So then you just lied to both of us.
Well, I lied to him because...
I just want to know, you lied...
Yes,
Right, you
sorry.
lied to me,
Yes.
too. You said you lied to both of us. You lied to him and you lied to me.
Yes.
Right? Okay. You placed a value, sir, of $500 on the shotgun. Is that right?
Correct.
Because the alleged loans you made, which I'll get to in a moment, were $11 value on the shotgun. You're going to get it, Mr. Orm, because I don't like people who lie, and I really don't know what she did with the shotgun. But clearly, based upon the text, she had no right to do anything with it, and I think she's being a wise person. I say that in an unflattering way.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I don't believe anything that you say to me. I think that you're a fibber, to him and to me.
That would be a fair assessment.
Just a second. Don't cross your arms. There's only one attitude here.
And later today...
The fact that your sister says my sister doesn't have any money, so you can't get blood from a turnip, doesn't mean you're not responsible for her car being totaled.
Leslie Orm says ex-fiancée Lori Mosley owes for a loan and for selling his shotgun without his permission.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to get to is the money that you gave her. And $300 was for a cruise that you were supposed to take together.
Correct.
Correct?
Correct.
And from what I gathered from your statements, you were going to pay for the cruise just as you did pay for the trip to Florida. You were...
Amen.
Correct. I didn't ask you anything. I don't believe anything that you say to me. I think that you're a fibber, to him and to me.
That would be a fair assessment.
Just a second. Don't cross your arms. There's only one attitude here. So you're not going to get the $300 back, Mr. Orm, because that's not a loan. Now, the other part of it was $800 to buy plane tickets for her son and daughter-in-law on this trip to Florida. We went to Florida as a family. So now I'm going to go back to the very basic question that I asked you, sir, which is, why wait 2 years, or show me any text between March or April of 2019 and November of 2020 or October of 2020 when you asked her back for the money for the plane tickets.
I don't have that text. I do have the
no. I don't want. Listen to me. Listen to me. I want what I want. I've crossed out the cruise. The cruise, you're not getting back. You were supposed to go there. You were going to pay for the cruise. The $300 was a deposit. You lost it. That she changed her mind is of very little value to me. No, don't tell me to hold on. Don't tell me to hold on. I asked you a question. My question is titled to the money for your shotgun because I don't know where it is. I don't think you're going to get it back from her. So I'm giving you the full value of what you asked for the shotgun, which is $500. You're not getting the $300 for the cruise. And unless you have some text, email, or demand for the $800 that for the 2 plane tickets for her son and daughter-in-law, you're not getting that. So all you have to do is tell me.
I don't have that.
Well, then you waited too long. Since you weren't in jail, since you weren't in the military, since you weren't incapacitated, since you had every ability to sue her for the money from the time that you allegedly loaned her the money until today, I cannot find that waiting until there is a worldwide pandemic to sue her for something that happened years ago is legitimate.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today.
When did it start
raining? It was raining the whole night, like all day.
So what did you go out for? Whole night, whole day, raining hard. What'd you go out for with your 2 children,
me and her,
8 and 4? Listen,
met.
if it's raining that hard that you can't see and you're going 40 miles an hour, stay home.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Leslie Orm says ex-fiancée Lori Mosley owes for a loan.
Okay, it happened when you were engaged to be married. You wanted to go away as a family. You wanted to impress her family. You were acting as a big sport. You're not getting the money back because it wasn't a loan, because you have no proof it was a loan. And I'm prepared to see any proof that you have where you say to her and she acknowledges, just pay attention, where you say to her and she says to you, I acknowledge this is a loan in the last year. And if you don't have any of that, sir,
I don't have that.
Then, okay, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $500. Thank you very much. We're finished.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Well, I guess it's fair that, you know, he gets money for his shotgun because I did sell that.
She was scared to death, so I said, hey, next time I come up, I'll bring you my shotgun to protect yourself.
He left it at my house for 2 years. Didn't want it, you know, said, hey, you need that to protect yourself.
There was no honeymoon. Then I should have got my money back.
Nope, called it off. I found out what kind of control freak he was and said, no way.
God, stay away from women.
It's time to go separate ways.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Davis versus Davis. Step forward.
23-year-old Kenesha Davis is suing her sister, Shamika Davis, for totaling her car and then fleeing the scene. Shamika is countersuing for damages she claims Kenesha caused to the car.
She had an accident, according to you, and your sister doesn't deny the fact that she totaled your car, and you want her to compensate you. Your sister says, well, she did total the car, but then you knew she didn't have any money, so that you made an arrangement with her that you could use her car whenever you wanted it, and so that you could save up to buy a new one. And then she has a ridiculous counterclaim that while you were using her car, you left it messy, which is going to be dismissed. I think I'll do that now, so save myself trouble. Now, tell me about when you borrowed your sister's car.
Me and my sister switched cars in October.
Why?
We were both moving at the same time, and I have a truck, so she was using my truck to move. We had each other's car for about 2 weeks before the accident.
And what happened with her car?
Well, me and her met up on Halloween. We took the kids trick-or-treating.
She and I met on Halloween.
She and I met up together to go trick-or-treating with the kids. She went her way with my truck, and I had her car. It was raining really bad that day. I went on the freeway to go home. I was going around a dead man's curb. This car tried to cut in front of me because I was going too slow, because it was raining. I had a hit-and-run accident with her car.
Show me the police paperwork. Okay, so you had the accident. Were the police called?
Yeah, the police were called.
Fine. What kind of insurance did you have on your car?
I had liability insurance. It covers any car that I drive.
Were your children okay after the accident?
Yeah.
Okay. When did you purchase this car?
I bought it February 2013.
And this accident was when?
The day of Halloween, October 31st, 2013.
And how much did you pay for the car?
I paid $2,500 for the car originally.
And it's a 2003...
Dodge Stratus.
Would you look that up for me, please? 2003 Dodge Stratus.
Got it.
Car was totaled?
Mm-hmm.
Sedan?
4-door.
2100.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell me?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Go ahead.
Well, basically, I don't think I owe her a dime because we had a verbal agreement. She knew I couldn't afford to give her to buy her another car at the time. So she asked me, can she borrow my car until she can get, money for another car, which I did. She had my car for almost a month. She was dropping me off everywhere. And she purchased another car. She had got a Grand Prix. And then to sue me for the car. Your Honor, that's not true.
Wait. Okay. The fact that your sister says my sister doesn't have any money, so you can't get blood from a turnip, doesn't mean you're not responsible for her car being totaled. Because I don't have anybody's statement here except yours that you were hit by another car. As far as I know, you were going too fast and you spun out.
It was raining really bad that night. I was going slow. You're supposed to go 40 miles an hour.
When did it start
raining? It was
raining
raining the whole night, like all day.
So what did you go out for? Whole night, whole day, raining hard. What'd you go out for with your two children,
me and her,
8 and
me
4?
And
Listen, if it's raining that hard that you can't see and you're going 40 miles an hour, stay home with your two children, age 8 and 4, who could have been killed in the car if you say it was that dangerous. And if it wasn't that dangerous, somebody caused the accident. One thing I know for sure, it was not her. She's suing you for less than what she paid for the car. She's suing you for $1,500. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,500. Your nonsense counterclaim is dismissed, as I said before.
Thank you. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy, the virus held up her security deposit.
You want me to go to a walkthrough and infect somebody with COVID?
Send your mother.
Next Judge Judy.
I'm just upset that she didn't even give me a chance to tell her about the damages that were done to my car while she had it.
I'm happy. I think that it was fair. I think Judge Judy made the right decision.
The door panel was completely off, the alignment, and I had to get the brakes redone.
Honestly, I mean, it was a little messy. I didn't really mess up the door. It was already like that when I got it. There was nothing wrong with her Jeep that I did.
We don't talk at all anymore.
I mean, we don't talk, but, I mean, that's really it. Everything else is fine.
I hope we can be cool. Be sisters.